Welcome to Startup Takeoff, your way to entrepreneurship in Germany, a podcast for students with an international or intercultural background who want to create a startup in this country. My name is Camila Muñoz, and this is our pilot episode. Today, I will tell you about the idea behind this podcast, and later on, we will have a special guest from Mexico who knows firsthand how challenging it is to start a business in a foreign country. He will share his experience with us, how he successfully co-founded a startup here in Germany that is reshaping industries with autonomous robots. This podcast is part of the project International Career Service Rhein-Main, a project that empowers students with an international or intercultural background to achieve their career goals or their desire to start a business in Germany. 5 universities in the Rhein-Main area are part of this project, and they all support students in different ways. For example, with career counseling, workshops, trainings, and events in English and in German, everything free of charge. All these offers are specially designed for international students and students with a history of migration, because we know how difficult it can be to start a career journey or a business in a country where you may not be familiar with the bureaucracy, the job market, the legal aspects, the language, and many other challenges. That is why the project focuses on 5 main topics. One of them is that we offer information and practical tips about starting your career in Germany, like how to find an internship or a first job, or how to write a convincing application. Another one is that we support you in building self-empowerment and independence in your professional life, so that you can define your personal goals and plan your career strategically. A third topic is information about the skills needed to navigate the evolving German job market, like understanding how is the corporate culture in the country and the future skills that will be essential for your dream job. The fourth one is that we organize mentoring and networking events, where you can connect with others and expand your professional network. And our fifth topic is entrepreneurship. Through workshops and modules, we offer tools and advice to turn your business idea into reality. And entrepreneurship is precisely the main focus of this podcast. We will have 1 new episode every month. Some episodes will be in English and some others in German. And every time we will have a new guest that will tell us more about important topics around starting a business, like where to start if you have a business idea, how to get financial support and mentoring, how can you create a sustainable startup, or about the resident status. Can you be your own boss while dealing with the immigration office in Germany? We will also have some guests that have an international or intercultural background themselves and succeeded in founding their dream business in Germany. They have a lot to say about their experience to inspire others and to show that entrepreneurship is a possible option for internationals. And that is exactly the kind of guests that we have today in this pilot episode.
My name is Alberto Romay. I am co-founder and COO of Energy Robotics.
Alberto was born and raised in Mexico. He came to Germany in 2012 to study for a PhD in mechatronics, robotics, and automation engineering at the Technical University of Darmstadt. After finishing their studies, he and his university colleagues founded the startup Energy Robotics. There, they use artificial intelligence to create a software for robots that inspect and monitor oil and gas platforms. These robots are equipped with color and infrared cameras, gas sensors, microphones, and other tools that help them to detect irregularities in the industries. They autonomously drive around the areas and do the necessary inspections. And they can detect, for example, gas leaks, broken fences, changes in the temperature, and others. But Alberto will tell us now more about the company.
Energy Robotics is a company that develops software for autonomous mobile robots. The main objective of Energy Robotics is to create software that can help robots inspect industrial environments, dangerous environments where normally humans should not be going into, and that these robots can perform the visual inspection necessary for these assets, and then they relieve humans from the dirty and tedious tasks.
That means that humans don't have to perform these dangerous tasks anymore, They just can rely on the robots and like control them remotely.
Exactly. So what currently humans are doing is they go on their inspection shift. They take their instruments. They go measure analog data, read gauges, and then they manually create a report. And then they generate this report and send it. What our robots are now currently doing are helping this human to supervise. So the human will sit in his office, warm and cozy, and through the web interface that will allow him to supervise our autonomous robots, we'll check that the robot is performing well, that it's doing the round, and after the robot autonomously finishes the mission and creates an automatic report, the human will just check the report and decide, okay, everything is okay. If something is not okay, then the human will then explicitly, in this case, go into the plant, inspect exclusively this aspect, and then this way the robot and the human should not be exposed to the weather, to gases, or to dangerous areas.
And you and your colleagues founded the startup 5 years ago in 2019, right? And since then, the company has been growing so much that now you have big customers like Shell, E.ON, and Merck. And even Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany, was impressed by your software, and she saw its potential to put Darmstadt and Germany at the forefront of artificial intelligence in the world. But tell us a bit, how was the process of founding the startup? How did it all begin?
Um, well, there are different parts of where it all began. Just mentioning the highlights is from 2009 to 2013, 14, um, the Technical University of Darmstadt, when I was also part of it, was participating in many robotics competitions. One of the robotics competitions that started in 2014 to 2017 was the so-called Argos Challenge, autonomous robots for gas and oil sites. And this competition was focused on getting an inspection robot to be doing autonomous missions, right? We participated in this robotic competition, and we fortunately won that robotic competition. After that, in 2017, the idea of starting a company came because, some customers at that point, Total, the oil and gas company Total, was organizing this Argos challenge and said, okay, if you won, then we will give you a contract because we want to make this a product. So we were still part of the university at that point, and our professor of our PhD of the co-founders invited us or had the idea to create the company. At that point it was not yet called Energy Robotics, but it was just called like a spin-off of the TU Darmstadt for this robotic company. The idea came to co-found the company, then we meet together all again back because I was in other projects already working, and we started as part of the university. So we started applying for it's not a scholarship, but it's a funding from the government, from the German government, that funds universities to help them transfer the technology from a research project into a industrial product. So we started preparing for this funding. We actually got that funding, and we started working on the company from 2017 to the end of 2018, 1 year. Once we finally achieved the objectives of that funding, we were able to officially, let's say in English it's kind of called incorporate, but in German it's called to create a GmbH, GmbH, and we co-founded officially Energy Robotics at the end of 2018. The beginning of 2019 is when we were actually officially recognized as a company.
And what kind of challenges did you face at the beginning, or what was the hardest part of creating a company in Germany?
So the very beginning, the challenge was to get this funding accepted, right? So we're still kind of researchers, and for this was just like another grant for us. So we prepared a lot of research, we prepared a lot of software, and we work a lot to get that funding. And that funding kind of was the thing that kickstarted us. At that point when we started, of course that was the hardest thing we have ever done, right? To get funding from the German government, because it was big sum. It's a public amount. It was at that point 800,000 euros that we kind of got for getting started with the capability or the to renew that after 1 year once we co-founded a company. But yeah, at that point was convincing the German government that we have a future, and at least for that point, we are now 6 years founded. So we demonstrated that we are a good company that reaches the objectives that we set. Right now, we are on our own. On the wild, trying to get money, and trying to convince people is a hard one. Now it seems it was easy, but at that point that was challenging, and it seems it was easy compared to what we now have to do. And what we now have to do is to get investors interested in our company, and that's where the challenge comes, to make people realize that this product has future and that this will revolutionize the industry inspection, and that it will be a next evolution on incorporating robots into the industrial environment. We have already good investors, right? So we got funded by different VCs right now. We are going to our Series A, and that proves that people has trusted us already, but it's now trying to get more level of investment, a higher level of investment to lay the grounds for the next 20 years and not just for the 2, 3, 4 years that our startup is kind of starting, right?
Another topic is your team that has been growing a lot over the last years. Now you have more than 50 members from different backgrounds and cultures. What would you say are some of the benefits and challenges of working with an international and diverse team?
The advantages of having a multicultural team are exactly that, right? That you get perspectives from everyone, from different backgrounds, from different education, from different culture, and also that you get to share that. So we are a hybrid company in the matter of working at the office or working at home. We allow and we encourage people to feel well on their work environment, and if that's at home, then that's it. And if this is in the office, then please, come here. People that are happier in their work environment are more efficient. So the advantage of having people in different parts of Germany, in different parts of the world, is that at some point we get to know each other and share some different aspects. One very important thing is every 6 weeks we meet everyone in the company. So that's also kind of a must. It's part of the contracts, right? That we must meet physically, because that's also very important, right? We do some team building activities. We go have dinner. We go and do some mini golf or I don't know, escape rooms or stuff like that. We try to encourage people to share, culture, to talk, not just meet through the computer screen, right? That's also, it's an advantage, but it's also sad not to be able to share something in person.
Now, let's talk about your background. I saw that you grew up in Mexico, where you received your bachelor's and master's degrees in computer science, and you have been living here in Germany for more than 10 years now. Why did you decide to come here in the first place?
Yeah, so when I was in Mexico 12 years ago, more or less, more than 12 years, I was doing my bachelor and master, as you said. I was already working in robotics at that point since 2005, so almost 20 years. So I was participating in robotics competitions, one called RoboCup. And I had the opportunity to travel to Austria. At that point, it was an international competition held in Graz. And at that point, already I knew I wanted to go to Germany. Why? Because the industrial education and leading edge technology of the German industry is well known at the international level. And I wanted to come here since I remember. But at that point in the robotics competitions, 2009, in Graz, actually the TU Darmstadt team won the competition, won the first place. So for me, it was like, oh yes, and that point is when TU Darmstadt appeared on my radar. Before I was just looking for Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt universities in Bonn, right? The high names like Max Planck Institute, and they were like the typical classical high level names of universities in Germany. But being able to participate in this robotic competition made me actually realize, hey, these groups of these universities are actually working on the projects that I like, and it's not just a high name for research, it's actually the project that I want. And I discovered TU Darmstadt had a robotics project that was super interesting, and that's when I decided to come here to TU Darmstadt.
And let's take a mental trip back in time and describe us how were your first months living here, being so far away from the life you were used to.
Yeah, so fortunately, the first months were focused on learning German. That's kind of the perks, one of the perks that the scholarship that I had from the DAAD, right? The German scholarship agency that gave me the scholarship that make it possible that I'm here. The first months were actually just German, so it was a very interesting time because I was having 5 hours a day exclusively German for 4 months. So I was having at some point nightmares in German, but it was good because I was practicing, right. Um, I has a lot of advantages because I met a lot of international people also learning German. Everyone suffering the same dirty das declination thing, and probably you also experienced that. So it was really, really interesting the first months in Germany because I had this chance to learn German. The first months during the PhD were also very interesting, helpful because all my research team was very supportive of me. They were showing me the city, showing me, inviting me to social events, right? So I felt really welcome, and it was very warm. Um, One thing that I actually kind of tried to do was not to speak in English with my research fellows, right? So that I actually tried to improve my German because I knew that if I wanted to stay in Germany, having a decent level of German was going to help. So I actually asked my teams to talk to me in German, and that made it a little bit harder at the beginning, but it paid off because now I can, not perfectly, I would say, but I would easily communicate in German, and that changes a lot of the way you can live in Germany.
Did you ever imagine that you will end up founding a startup in Germany?
No, never. That was so. I When I was working with robotics in Mexico, I always had that thought. Oh yes, I will have a company at some point, but it was just more like a dream that I never thought it was going to be true. So I never pursue founding a company. I pursue working in robotics because that was what I liked to do. I knew I could do it, and I pursued that by having a PhD here in Germany for robotics. And I was actually looking for uh, companies that had robotics, mobile robotics. I ended up working in the automotive industry for autonomous cars, right? So it's kind of an autonomous car is kind of a robot, right? Um, but never thought that it would became a reality to have a company. So the moment after finishing the PhD that my professor supervisor invited me to co-found a company, I was like, yeah, just 1 microsecond I said yes, right? And I knew that uh, it, founding a startup is very challenging in the sense that I left my stable work from 9 to 5 in a company that was very successful and I could make career and I will not have a lot of stress for a lot of stress, less payment, no time for not a lot of free time. But actually, I was doing exactly what I wanted. So I took the risk, I took the jump, I started a company with my co-founders, and if it worked, fine. If it did not work, also fine. I had the experience, and I was never going to let that go away.
So you mentioned you left a lot of things of a safe work to create your own company. Will you say it was worth it? Or what is the most rewarding thing that you can say you have achieved looking back at those years?
Yeah, definitely. So it's always a leap of faith that you have to have with yourself. I had many. I was lucky to get a good team. I had, as I said, a good job with a good salary, not so very stressful thing to do, with a lot of career to go. But the team that I made while being in the university, while doing my PhD, my co-founders, I knew them since 2009, right? So when we decided, okay, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna quit our jobs? Are we gonna just go full into co-founding a company? I had no doubt that we were going to do something valuable for a long time. I'm not sure if the energy robotics is going to be forever there. Hopefully, yes. We are working every day for that. But at least I said, hey, this ship is going to sail. Do I want to be there when it's successful or not? So, and I decided yes. Of course, not everyone has that opportunity to have friends, and normally you will have to find someone new to start your software or to another part of the company, and to start with new people, so you don't know them, you don't know how they react, how would they work, if they are responsible, right? That is, I understand, more challenging, and there is people that can do that, and respect for that. I In our case, it was easy decision because of I knew the background. I knew my professor will advise us to do the right thing, to find the correct fundings, and eventually get some investors.
What do you think are some of the values or experiences you were able to learn growing up back in Mexico that are now helping you to be successful in your business here?
Yes, so Mexico, it was very important, I would say, part of the culture. We have challenges, yeah, in Latin America, right? We don't have like the resources that Europe has or that the US has. So you have to learn to do the most with the least, right? You need to be super efficient. You learn to be super optimized if you want to really do something. I remember when I was participating in the Mexican robotics team that our project had a budget of 30,000 pesos at that time, which might be today around, I think, $1,500, right? It's with $1,500 you had to do at that point a lot, compared to that budget that German universities had at that time was 10 times lower than that. And with that reduced budget, we were able to participate in the same robotics competition as the European University. So it's challenging, it's hard, it's not easy. But what you learn, what is that if you want to be at the international level, you have to learn to do the most with the least. So you need to move. You need to learn to find, to search people that can help. There is people that can help. You just need to find them.
Are there things that you miss from your life in Mexico? You have been living here more than 10 years now. Is there something you still miss about that? Or you come often, your friends, your family, maybe?
The family is the most important thing that I miss. Unfortunately, if I want to do if I want to achieve my goals in my academic career, I have to do some sacrifices, right? My friends are in second place, right? I have very good friends that I miss. And the next thing that I really miss is the food. You can imagine, probably. So the way I miss my tacos, probably other people miss arepas, something like that. It's stuff that is not fun. It's hard, but at the same time, it's an opportunity to create new family, create new friends, and enjoy new international food. So obviously I miss it, but I'm not suffering every day. It's what I like here. German food is really good for non-vegan, non-vegetarian like me. But there are also many options, and I now have a family of my own. I have friends of my own, and I enjoy the culture here. So I miss a lot, but I also have a lot here.
What do you think that Germany can do to make international students feel more motivated to start a business here?
if you want to start a business, you have to take the first step and look for funding. So Germany has a lot of government funding projects that can help you starting your business. So you need to start looking for things like exist transfer projects, exist scholarship. The first step needs to be taken by us, and the part of getting information, it's hard, yeah. So maybe, yeah, some probably cliche, probably you have already experienced it yourself, is German bureaucracy. Yeah, it's I think, but it works. It's hard, but it's also not impossible. So that should not be an excuse not to start anything. So yeah, getting a project founded by the German government implies a lot of paper work, a lot of time of investing, a lot of calls, a lot of emails. It's not easy. That could be made easier, yes, but it's also a lot of money. So Germany needs to be sure that they are putting the money where they can be properly well used. And there were a lot of groups that were participating. I unfortunately don't recall how many, um, but it's just like a very few percent of the projects that apply to get a scholarship that are actually accepted to start a project, to start a business. So it's not that no one is applying because it's difficult. It's a lot of people is applying, and maybe, yeah, having more spots or having more money for supporting even more percentage of projects will be good. But that depends obviously on a lot of other aspects that I do not know.
Is there anything you would like to say to students with an international or intercultural background who may already have a business idea or would like to found a startup in the future here in Germany? A message maybe you would have liked to hear 10 years ago?
Yes, never surrender. If you like something and it's not just like I would like to do this, but if you really like something that you feel motivated to work and that you are enthusiastic and that you want to do something and that you have your own successes in your own universities, you are participating in extracurricular projects, right? If you are of these kind of people that want to do more, there is more outside your country. uh, don't stop at your own university. Start looking for international projects. Writing emails, writing, facing people, making calls. It's not easy. It's a challenge. But if you don't start, then you will never get uh, out of that. So if you are in Germany already, if you are motivated and you want to start a business, try to look, for example, if you are in a university with a project, try to look in your university for programs that support you to transfer your academic idea into a product, right? Um, I I think it's very hard to do everything by yourself. So asking for help is very well recommended, right? Look for projects, look for grants. As I said, start moving and don't wait for people to come to you and offer you things. Um, yeah, if you really want to do that. Yeah.
And lastly, what is coming now for Energy Robotics? What are your plans or future projects?
A lot. Energy robotics is at the early stages of robotics autonomy. We currently are doing a lot of visual inspection with AI, but we will start moving to do from one side manipulation, right? So robots that are actually acting on the environment, not just visualize the environment. And from other parts, we are introducing a lot of AI to do digitalization of the industrial sites so that it kind of feels that you are on the site, and that you have real time information, that you have yeah, visual experience as if you were physically there, but you are remotely there. So a lot of let's say virtualization of the environments, um, and manipulation. I think those are kind of parts that are coming to us.
Thank you very much and good luck with your future plans for the company.
Thanks to you, Camila. That was a pleasure.
This was a pilot episode of Startup Takeoff, Your Way to Entrepreneurship in Germany. In the following episodes, you will find more inspiring stories and tips from experts to make your entrepreneurial journey in Germany easier. This podcast is part of the International Career Service Rhein-Main, a project that supports international students or with a history of migration to start their career or business in Germany. The universities that are part of the project are: in Frankfurt, the University of Applied Sciences and the Goethe University; in Darmstadt, the Hochschule and the Technical University; in Wiesbaden, the Hochschule Rhein-Main; and in Mainz, the Johannes Gutenberg University is an associated partner. The project is funded by the European Union and the state of Hesse. If you are a student or recently graduated from these universities and want to participate in our offer, please visit our website at ics-rm.de. You can also connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You find us as @ics_rm. My name is Camila Muñoz. Thanks for listening, and until next month.